Damage incorporated, but you can hear Cliff. Stick around. Written by James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Cliff Burton, and Kirk Hammett, Damage Inc. is the 8th and final song off Metallica's third album, Master of Puppets, and is one of 2 songs on the album not to feature leaked isolated tracks from the Guitar Hero game. Let's get started. Good news, thanks to track separation software using AI and algorithms and whatnot, I was able to generate one, and it came out pretty good. This right here is the track itself, and it's got quiet spots and loud spots. If there's a lot of drums, you get less Cliff. If there's a lead guitar solo, you get less Cliff. So I had to hand automate it to have a volume that was audible throughout the entire track. And I, right here, ran this through my Empress bass compressor and using makeup gain to bring out all the quiet stuff and make it as loud as the loud stuff. And I had to automate them together, which took quite a bit of time. So before I discovered the track separation software that gave us this great bass track, I was going to call this song the first song on Injustice for All, because Cliff is turned down so quiet on Damage Inc. you can't hear him throughout the whole song. And how it gave us so many fills that Cliff played. And by the way, they're going 90 miles an hour, and Cliff is making cool, clear-headed decisions. And it's like he's in the pocket the whole time, and every fill's amazing. So I was impressed twofold. One, with the track separation software and how much Cliff it gave us, and 2, with what Cliff played on the track. It's great. I mean, his fills are killer. Check this out. Mute the remaster. It's just that enhanced bass track and the 2 Cliff tracks. Let's go further up. Remember that for later. So the first time I heard this, it blew my mind. He's hitting G on F sharp, and it sounds awesome. The third time Cliff plays this part, and I know I keep coming back to it, but in 30 plus years as a Metallica fan, I never heard him play the G over the F sharp, and it sounds killer. He plays it a little bit differently this time too. Check it out. And now for this eye-popping double octave bass fill Cliff does at the end of this section. I never heard that either. Let's just check that out with the remaster solo and see if you can hear it, because I can't. Where did that fill come from? This track separation software. Now, I didn't do much for Escape or the Call of Cthulhu, but for Leper Messiah Rough Mix and Damage Inc., it gave me a lot. You got to check out this really cool fill here. It sounds even better with the remaster because part of it is on the album. Check out how Cliff goes from doubling the rhythm guitar part, note for note, to the ending of this phrase where he does a giant octave bass fill. Pretty cool. And at the end of that same fill, Cliff hits a high F sharp with a high G, and only plays it once, not twice, and on the first time, not the second time. You got to hear it to believe it. Incredible. So in the 4th and final F sharp section, Cliff does hit G on the 2nd and 4th times, but instead of returning to F sharp, he returns to open E, contrasting what James plays. Also, at the end of the song, James plays 3 Fs. Cliff, on the other hand, plays 2 Fs and an open E, contrasting James a second time, which sounds like this. No headache this week, because this was a track-generated stem that was basically taken from my remastered song. it lines up when you import it automatically. So no having to split it in a million pieces, no having to line it up. This was a treat in that respect. But the automation lane, that was the real difficulty this time. And now our moment of guitar architecture. Other than the introduction written by Cliff Burton, Damage Inc. mix-wise is a very traditional Metallica song, and performance-wise it slams from start to finish. And it's quite the send-off for their third album. And now it's time once again for the in-album Lifeline segment, brought to you as always by Fresh Produce. No, not the brand, the concept. Eat your fruits and veggies. In this segment I always ask the question, would I trade? If the song that I'm working on has an isolated bass track, would I trade it away for one that doesn't? And if the song that I'm working on does not have an isolated bass track, would I trade it for one that does? In the case of the Master of Puppets album, there are 8 songs, 6 of which have isolated bass tracks. The 2 that do not are Leper Messiah and Damage Incorporated. With regards to Damage Inc., it is the other bookend on the Master of Puppets album, to Battery's Pounding on Aggression. Damage Inc.'s Dealing Out the Agony Within was the other fast and heavy song on the album, and I would definitely trade in The Thing That Should Not Be's bass track to get one for Damage Incorporated. Also, I'm convinced the only reason Thing That Should Not Be got chosen over Damage Incorporated is that whammy bar solo and the guitar gimmick pick that you use when you play the Guitar Hero game. Regardless, the verdict is yes, I would trade. Damage Incorporated, Master of Puppets the album, and Season 3 are done. There are a ton of surprises coming up next. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is the Metallica Re-Remastered series. Stay tuned for more. So if you're keeping tabs, the first time Cliff off. So I was impressed twofold. One